Hey everyone. I think my mic's having problems. Oh, okay. For a second there, it was showing that it had like really bad, like 10 decibel static, but when I started talking, it like went away. I have no idea what that was about. So, well, good for me. I suppose I don't have any audio problems, so that's nice. Um, Hello everyone. I'm here. Um, it's been a hot minute, largely because normally when I wake up, I don't want to stream. Oh, there you are. Yeah, so oh my god, famous Twitch TV streamer Unwell Sorcerer is now live on Twitch. Thank you. Yes. Um, yeah, so here's what's going on. God, I look like shit. My hair is all greasy. That's what happens when I use conditioner. Anyway, so a person DM'd me, and they wanted me to help them with like a character design. They wanted me to help them with like their head specifically because they were struggling getting the topology of their head and making it look good. So that's basically what this is about. I did a tutorial on this effectively with the PS1 character mascot character. I kind of showed off how to make a character head, but it is perhaps a bit too fast and maybe assumes a lot of things that you would be able to follow along, just kind of utilize that information. Um, so what I'm going to do is, I'm putting on glasses and shit to see if I can make my hair look any less shit. Ugh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the stream here in just a second, and I'm going to try to show off uh, my workflow for making it, which is relatively simple. Pretty universal because you can utilize for any character generally. So within reason, it's kind of more oriented toward anamorphic characters. Dr. Octavius glasses. Why not? Alright, so let us swap over. Capture. Alright, so I think I look like shit. I'm just gonna not have my fucking that, and it's blocking the fucking Blender screen. Yeah. Alright. So here's what's gonna happen. So we have this shape right here. This is a subdivided cube with a mirroring modifier on. I just literally, if we're gonna delete the default cube, let's just do this. Add a cube, subdivide it, set the smoothness to 1, and then what you do is you take this side, delete it, and then add a mirroring modifier. That's basically all you do. So we have this general shape, and this is the building block for any like animal character head. I'm really shaky still on human anatomy, largely because whenever I try, it ends up looking uncanny and awful, and I hate it. So yeah, that's just the basics of what we're going to do. So, get started. We're going to select this part of the face. This is the bottom half of the face. Right here is probably where the eyes are going to sit. What's the key for command to trigger the mirror modifier? I always do it manually. I have no idea that existed. Here's the thing. It doesn't exist. So here's what you do, and here's what I've done instead. I believe if you do this, I believe you can do mesh. I basically added it manually as a hotkey. So I have it under my quick favorites bar, which I access by hitting Q. I don't know if that exists for modern control scheme users. I utilize 2.7x key controls because I'm antiquated and stubborn as fuck because I refuse to use modern controls. So we have it in the quick bar, I believe. I might just be able to go to modifier and then where is it? Right click? Yeah. So you go into your modifiers and you right click one of your things and you hit well, let me just remove it first. So as you can see, it's no longer in here. So you go into add modifier, go to mirror, right click, add quick favorites, and then it's there. So you no longer have to worry about having to go and manually do it. It's a pain in the ass. I'm pretty sure there's also, I think there's an actual subkey for subdivision surfaces, but I don't know where that is. Let's turn the music up and put this on, please. I think this is appropriate. We got tutorial music. Oh god, it's too loud. 2.7 controls as well. Couldn't get used to the new one. Yeah. So I utilize quick favorites for a lot of stuff. Poke face. What's poke face do? I forget. Oh, it's like an inset, I see. So, wasting a lot of time. I have to go to work at like 3 o'clock, so I'm wasting a bit of time. So, to get started, we're doing an animalistic face. This is going to be more along the lines of... it's going to be a dragonoid, basically. I can actually show off the end result, just about what we're going to be doing. It is this. We have this character here. This is what I ended up making because Vixen Zero was messaging me and they wanted help with a character. This part right here is actually going to be an actual later video. So this is kind of going to be the end result. All right, we're going to go back here. So the very basics of what we need to do is we have this character here, and we're just going to extrude out the face like that. That's all we really need to do. This is going to be largely the majority of what the topology is, minus some extra things. So once we have what the snout is going to be, what we're going to do is we're going to take these edges here, and we're just going to subdivide them like that. I don't want any smoothness with that. We don't need to worry about that. So there's that. We can triangulate that right there by selecting this face and hitting T. Just do that. Control T, my bad. Actually, did they ever fix keyframing? Or what's it now? I can't remember what it is. It's like screen keys. Screencast keys, that's what it's called. Is this? No, it doesn't work. Is there a new version? Hold on. As a person who makes fucking tutorial videos, this is something that's actually kind of important. Alright, Screencast Keys v3.2. Does this work for 3.4? This is released 2020. Well, that's when it was released, but is it active? Does it work? Let me download it and see what it is. Released, commit since changes. It doesn't look like it's been updated since fucking May 2020. What the fuck? Why do these not exist? Ugh, fuck. Okay. I'll just have to, verbally describe exactly what's happening. So, yeah, Control T to triangulate. Do that. Control T. That's how that works. So what we're going to do now is we need to make the actual mouth part of the character. We're just going to select these two faces here and just hit V. So that'll separate those there. We can bring this down. There we go. So we actually have the face, and then we're going to go into sculpt mode. And we're going to do like this. So we can just bring that down a little bit. Kind of hit this up a little bit. There we go. Let's do this smooth face. That way we kind of make it less blocky. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of people just ignore that people do not use smooth facing at all, and it just ended up making their stuff really blocky. There we go. Now, let's kind of have an underbite, make it look a little bit more natural. Important feature. They removed on-screen buttons. Yeah. If anyone knows a better like screencasting option, that would be fantastic. Let's do that. Move that there. Let's make these more sharp. And let's see here. Am I following a good jawline? Let's bring that out a little bit. Bring that in a little bit. There we go. Kind of have like an angular kind of thing going to it. Okay. Never considered sculpting over low poly. It's a very powerful tool. It allows you to control a lot. All right, so one thing that we're going to do now is I'm going to subdivide this. Hold on, we're going to take these areas here. We're just going to subdivide that. There we go. There we go. So this right here is going to be the area that's going to be the brow. Like this is the... There we go. So this is going to be like the eye socket aspect of the character. So that's kind of what we're going to do now. We're going to let me you know what? Yeah, do that. There we go. So we're going to bring this over here because that's going to be where the cat, please. My cat just jumped up on my desk. Hold on. What are you doing, Bear? Sorry, this is very important. Just a quick distraction. All right, so this is going to be where the brow connects to the character. We're gonna bring this there. Might even... Hold on. Kind of, at a point, it gets a little bit hard to kind of see what we're doing because we need a wireframe when we're sculpting. My cat's really, really fucking... is actually a witch. I'll have you know that the proper terminology is warlock. How dare you? How dare you misgender me? Okay, I'm gonna do... Oh, wrong button. Hit J to join those together. And we're going to need a vertex to act as the cheekbone. This will do. There we go. Wizard man. Warlock Schmormock. Thanks. Oh, hey, Justin, how you doing? God, it is incredible. I didn't expect this. I didn't think that Twitch would have this much traffic at like noon on a work day. I'm surprised this many people are actually active. Like I'm legitimately impressed at how many people are actually active right now. It's the whole Prime stream. This is Prime streaming hours. Ain't everyone at fucking work? What do you mean Prime streaming hours? All right. I'd like to flatten that on that axis. Maybe move that there. All right, so we kind of got our basics going on. So we got the eye sockets. Earth is round. It's Friday somewhere. Okay. I had a buffer to think about that. All right, so one thing that we're going to do is, since this character is this person is, it's a dragonoid, so he's going to have some sharp edges because scales and whatnot. So what we need to incorporate is sharp edges. We're going to turn on auto smoothing, and we're going to utilize sharps. So I'm going to, I'm going to mark sharp. I'm going to save mark sharp as a quick favorite. So we're just going to do that, and we're just going to do that, and there we go. So we have some eye ridges and character heads and whatnot. There we go. Got the cheek going on. Got the finally caught me alive. I'm elusive, yes. Alright, so why don't we add some hard edges to our character now. I think I want to bring this down a little bit, give a little bit more work to the lower jaw. Put that down. And this right here is where the neck will be. You know what? This is the jaw. Fuck. I want to Alt V, and I want to, if it'll let me. Oh. It's a dragon. Yes, it is a dragon. It's a dragonoid. So they're very similar in terms of, they're reptilian. So there we go. We're gonna do that. Oh. Fuck. There we go. I'm just kind of doing this to kind of create like a jawline for the character. There we go. We can just get rid of that and that, I suppose. No, that's too much. There we go. Keep that there. Alright, this right here is where the neck's actually going to be. And then we're just going to extrude that down a few times like that. And then we can just sculpt that out, smooth it out. There we go. Keep the jawline going. Maybe even... that's not how that's supposed to go. There we go. That's more appropriate. There we go. So we have a line. Oh. Hold on. There we go. I need to turn on auto merging so that way when vertices get close enough, they just snap together and I don't have to worry about it. There we go. Alright, let's get rid of these because at some point we're going to, oh shit. Scrawny neck. Let's turn on that. That'll create a better profile. There we go. So we got a character's neck. Even bring it down a little bit more, look at a little bit more lanky. And if we're feeling adventurous, what we can do, select this edge, hit V, create some ridges. I'd like them to be in the correct direction. And then take them, mark them, sharp. There we go. There we go. We could even go into the jawline, make that sharp. Alright, I'm done with having the song loop. I'll just go back. I like the pizza. I like the pizza pasta music, but I do feel like I need to move on a little bit now. All right, make sure this is set to smooth. All right. we go. Nah, that's good. Did you play through Pizza Tower? Not yet. I'm probably going to wait until my next paycheck, and I'll actually work on that. I prefer non-smooth modeling. I mean, modeling non-smooth is probably a good idea because it gives you a kind of better idea in terms of like visuals. Like if you shade like this, I feel this gives you a better understanding of how it looks because it gives you like more stuff. But at the same time, I kind of don't like modeling like this. Yeah. Although doing that has shown me that this needs to come out a little bit more, just because when trying to create a cavity for the eyes to sit in. I need to study your workflow. I'm not particularly interested in low potty, but copying couple of techniques for your YouTube made me a better. Yeah. Yeah. Modeling with shading off is good for understanding visually. It does help. Maybe even bring that in. I just like to work with shading because I think it makes it better. End product is going to be smooth anyway. Oh yeah, I'll be posting the VOD, don't worry. Alright, so we got the cheeks. Alright, so I want to create... This is something that I did with this character. I created some extra ridges for the face, so that way we could... Ooh, let me get rid of that. Clear that shard. That doesn't look necessarily as good. So what I did is I took the edges and I scaled them down, just to create some extra ridges. He has an angsty snout, yeah. So what this one does, it's kind of got a curve to it. So we can recreate that there. A little bit of angularness to it. So I'm scared of triangles. When I'm studying for ArcViz, I was told that they're really bad. Okay. So triangles are really bad for how do I explain it? Triangles are bad for editing purposes. Like if you're making a model and you like want to edit it later, they're really bad for modeling because it kind of messes with the topological flow of things. So let's say I want to select like this edge loop going from under the chin to here. It doesn't really work because I have triangles right there. So any kind of triangle breaks the quads of the character, therefore making them not flow, which is, like I said, when it comes to editing, not good because it causes problems. However, using triangles, it doesn't matter. The computer is going to break them down into triangles regardless of whether you want to or not. As a matter of fact, there are instances you have seen where I intentionally caused triangles to form. So, like, there was somewhere where I did it where it was basically to force it to render it in a way that I needed it to. Maybe it was right here. No, not there. Right here might be no. There are instances where you want to explicitly call a triangle, so that way it renders in the way that you want it to. But I can't readily find one at the moment. Alright, so I'm going to... We're going to take these edges. We're going to make the inside of the mouth. That. I think that's good. right here. Here's a good example of why you need to call triangles intentionally sometimes. So we have an instance, a face. This is a square where it isn't behaving the way that we would want it to because it is split down the middle, not the way we want it to. So what we want to do, we take this, we join them like that, and it behaves the way that we want it to now. There we go. Of course, it could also just be that... Actually, no. I do want it that way. Sometimes it's a matter of just the way that it's positioned. It wants to call the face in that way. Other times it isn't. It is a matter of... Shit, what have I done? I completely threw myself off. All right. There we go. Flatten that out. And then we have this edge. We're going to come to the side. We're going to make the esophagus like this, and then scale it to 0. There we go. So we have the interior of the mouth now. If we're going to work that way, let's get it smooth. Oh, I meant orthographic too. That's what I feel like weird. Of course I can. Yeah. Character modeling so far has been a tough cookie. I was surprised by how my previous ArcViz skills helped. Basically, I had to learn from scratch, and I'm still not good at it. It takes time. All right, so we're going to need to find an instance where we're going to create the tongue. I think here is where we're going to do that. So we're just going to bring this up. I'm vexed. Hold on. We're going to need to go into this, and I'm going to make a face map so that way it's easier to edit. 1 second, this is frustrating. There we go. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go to face map. I'm going to add one. This is the inner mouth. Assign that. And then I can just, whenever I want, go into here like that. There we go. All right. I'm going to select the top of the mouth. Kind of like that. Yeah. Magic school bus trip inside the mouth of a low poly dragon. Very interesting. Yes. All right. So this is what the tongue is going to come from. And we're going to scale that in like that. You know what? No. Let's turn off clipping for this one. We're going to have a forked tongue. Why not? If I can manage. There we go. These are amazing. What's amazing? This the music or what? The tongue. Ah, okay. All right, turn on connected only. Oh, let me turn clipping back on. I guess we'll go with forked tongue. Does that seem good? Taking my pups outside. Okay. A low poly artist unafraid of adding geometry. He's too powerful to be kept alive. What are you talking about? There we go. Alright. I'm gonna go into sculpt mode, just kind of slap that about. Go. Come on, grab the nose. There we go. You know what? Let me subdivide that. Join that there. A little bit of angle right there. That's where the nose is. There we go. We're gonna create an underbite. Make this a little bit thinner because his mouth ridges are pretty thick. They don't need to be that thick. Let me go back to face. There we go. That's probably good. Okay. So now we're going to do YouTube. Interesting. I mean, you won't need to do that. Modeling the eyes, we're going to do Pokemon route, make them with textures. I'd probably do it with textures. That's actually going to be what my next video is going to be about, is because I saw... You know, let me bring up Twitter, because I saw this and I wanted to... I was inspired. Where was it? This person. So what they were doing is they had this eye control with this texture control, and they were working on this character rig. But what happens as I'm looking at this is it seems that they don't really have a lot of control in terms of their design, and they have to struggle to make it work properly. So I was going to make a controller that was better. That was kind of the plan. Go away, music mixer. So I was either going to do... There's two options, really. There's one is painting it directly into the character itself, or utilize a... what was it now? Did I delete it? Utilize like a texture card that floats above the eyes. There's two different options. And it depends on how you want to go. This would be for more of like a cartoony effect where the eyes are floating off of the head itself. Whereas this method where it's painted directly on is more realistic. And it kind of allows for like, if you wanted to, you could add normal mapping and make it look like it's like got some actual depth to it and has like sits inside the head. But I'm too fucking lazy for that. So there's that. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is we're going to, if we could take these and we're going to do something called a poke face, and we can create ridges on the mouth like this. There we go. Start bringing it down, and then for here. There we go. Yeah. Also, probably want to create, well, back. Make these areas sharp. There we go. There we go. It's a little bit better, I feel. You're lazy? I'm so lazy that it's a proper rig. I just edit texture mapping values manually. Oh, do you just use like a texture mapping node? Is that what you're talking about? All right, let's add a sharp down here on his chin. There we go. Direct decided it's sufficient for simple pose and rendering things. Yeah, I guess so. All right, so we basically have the base for the character, right? Yeah, that's here's another instances where I need to triangulate. There we go. Kind of shows me that needs to come down a bit. All right. So now we're going to go for the horns, and that's going to be pretty simple. So the horns are going to be. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a plane. What did you? There. Yeah, that's not going to work. Click there, add plane. Make it small. We're going to rotate this about 45 degrees. Squash it on that axis. And that's how we're going to do that. How do you see the sharp edges so clearly? Okay. So this is, I believe, a render thing. I believe it's in... So you go into your, let's see here, shading properties. We're in studio shading, I believe. Viewport shading. So we go to matte cap. Actually, that would make it even better. And we have shadow and cavity enabled. And that allows you to kind of bring out the sharps, which makes it a lot easier to work with. Okay, so to make horns and fins, I have taken this thing here, and we're going to basically do it like this. Scale that in like that. Let's make sure that this is rendering properly. Calculate outside, there we go. There we go. Take that, shade smooth, and then we can take these edges here, mark them sharp. Or would it be better to mark these edges sharp? Not sure. I think I'll just mark these sharp. Keep it simple. Ah, fuck it, I'm indecisive. I don't know. Ah! Clear, just clear. Fuck. Just keep them, whatever. I don't care. And what we're gonna do is the character, the horns should go, if I can set this to surface. The character's horns would go around kind of here. Anywhere that is above the brow is where a horn would probably go. How are the kitty friends? They're sleeping. Monkey's over here sleeping out near the cat tower, and Bear. Don't know where Bear is. He might be on my bed. Yeah, so the horns should go somewhere in and around this area. Let me... That general area is where the horns would go, because that's kind of analogous to where your hair is. So that's what would do. So we're gonna use these. These are kind of fin-esque. We can just sort of slap them in and around here. We can have a variety of different styles here. Put something like that. That, and we're gonna go into edit mode. Add some variety and shape. go on normal, perhaps. There we go. Scale like that. Some horns going on like that. And then we're going to take another horn. We're going to make another horn. This is just going to be a plane on the top. Let's turn off clipping for this. Okay. I think I want this horn more close to the front. And we're just going to hold control. It's kind of... Ideally, you can hit control and click to kind of make the horn, because that'll extrude it out towards the mouse. But it's kind of gross, this one. Alright, smooth faces. Kind of depends on which way we want the horns to go. It seems like that could probably work pretty good, something like that. We can bring this one. Bring that like that. All right. Add something as simple like that. And let's see here. Can I... Maybe something red. There we go. Make the facial profile a little bit more outward. Maybe we could even increase the width of the face. Bring that out a little bit more. How many years have you been 3D modeling? You aren't gonna make us fight this, are you? Maybe, actually, now that I think about it. I've probably been 3D modeling for... I don't know. I've been modeling for quite a few years, probably since college. I really started getting into it probably sometime after high school. So that was at least like 5 years ago. 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago? I don't know. It's been a hot minute. It's, you know, pretty easy. It's not as hard as people. The main thing when it comes to 3D modeling is learning the software itself, because Blender is a fucking nightmare at times. Other than that, it's pretty easy. So I think this is pretty good. We could even add a little bit more. There we go. A little bit of extra spines, like, you know, Oblivion character creator. I used to make a blocky fish, now I'm modeling a freaking dragon lady. I don't remember that. That's much less of a nightmare than 3D Max. This is giving me more eccentric NPC shop owner vibes, not fierce enemy of the deep abyss vibes. It's amazing how much I changed. Yep. Yeah. All right, so... Ooh, excuse me. All right, so... I think I can do a little bit of a teaser in terms of what I'm intending to do for... for my next video. If I can get to it, we'll see. This guy looks like he'd be friends with a magic fish in a bowl. You leave Fina out of this. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to basically UV map this entire thing, which isn't going to be that hard for me because I know what I'm doing. So what I need to do is we're going to break this down into simple parts, considering the horns are pretty easy. I'll just do that right now. Okay. Let's just poke that face. That'll make it easier. Okay, so what we need to do is maybe go to the bottom of all of these and just kind of where they meet at the center there. We're just going to mark seams. Whoop, not that. Mark seam. There we go. There we go. Oh, we got this one. And what we need to do is basically we need to follow one edge all the way to the top, like this. I'll do the bottom one there, so that one's probably easier. And this one, follow up to there. There we go. So the spines are all UV mapped. We can go into the UV editor to kind of check these out. They're kind of automatically 3D UV mapped. Big time 3D modeler knows what he's doing. Yeah, sure, buddy. Where's your YouTube channel with 14K? You had to dive for that one, huh? God, is my subscriber count that high? Hold on. Am I sitting there? Fuck, I am. I was supposed to do a 10K special, and I never fucking did. I feel like a shit. Alright. So, now we're gonna get into modeling the character's head. I'm going to split the character where the jaw connects to the neck. That'll be fine. We're also going to go where... this is going to be a problem. Probably... shit, this is going to be a pain. Poking these had caused a problem, which is going to make it more of a pain in the ass to grab these, because I'm grabbing along the sharps, which are also going to be marked as seams. There we go. Mark that as sharp. Well, mark seam, not sharp. I'm basically trying to split apart the inside of the mouth from the outside of the mouth. That should make it easier. There we go. All right, so we have the outside of the mouth, like right there. Well, where is that? Oh, that's up. Okay, that's on top of the head. Got it. Trying to break this apart. So we have the internal part of the mouth. Let me view this with stretching in mind so that way I can see how bad it is. There's a... yeah, it's probably not happy about... Oh. Well, that's not good. There we go. That's brought back together. Oh, yeah, we're going to want to cut the tongue off. That's actually pretty important. So, right here is where the tongue is connected to the mouth. So this is the tongue. I guess just like that. Yes. That'll be fine. Whatever. Now we're getting pretty good. Where is this at? What? I forgot to mark the scene. There we go. All right. Take everything, unwrap. All right, select the head. Pretty decent, all things considered. I want to check how well this works by throwing this into a texel checker. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with this. We're going to add a checker texture. We're just going to plug it straight into the surface output. And we're going to add a UV map node, slap that into the vector, set this to 256. It should tell me everything that I need to know. See you Sunday. I swear to me, Mom, I'll have the damn session ready. All right, right here. Let me mark that. That doesn't really do much. Really. Yeah, it better. You're right. Yeah, it doesn't really do. Yeah, it's fine. What I could be doing is I could be setting this up to square, because one of the things that you'll notice is that these kind of crash into each other at angles, and that's, in my opinion, not fantastic. Let me do it from the top. Let me do... what's going on here? What's that? That's still the inside of the mouth. Hold on. Is that... what is going on here? There's some squanching going on here. Something is... yeah, that edge right there is causing problems. That's not surprising. Let's mark all the way down the sides. That way we split the top from the bottom. That'll at least alleviate that problem. I want to do a thing, which is going to be pain. Right. I'm going to select these edges, project from view. Well, not all of them, just this one. I'm going to try to square this as much as possible. Okay. There are some fights that aren't worth fighting, so... it's decent enough. It'll be fine. Alright, so we got a decently wrapped character model. Now, make sure everything's packed properly, because that's also important. Give it a little bit of margin, make sure they don't clip into each other. Alright. So this is where the aspect of the modeling comes in. Let me set this to color attribute, because I'm not going to fucking texture this thing. Vertex paint, we'll just make it red. If I can find it. Yeah, and we'll just pass through a diffuse, just that we have some shading or whatever. make these spines maybe a little bit of a different color. Slightly. Fuck. There we go. A little bit brighter color. And then this one will be like that or whatever. Just to keep it simple. So we would be able to bake this down into a texture, and that's kind of where that would go. However, we do not have the eyes for this character, so that's going to need to be remedied. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a color mix. I fucking hate this update that changed this shit. I have to find a mix node and set it to color. Fucking, hunt. Actually, is it like... What is it? Is it a mix node? Where do these even get... Where do these even come from? Color... Mix? It's group? I don't even know what the fuck there are. Oh, it's under combined color. Like, no, it's not combined color. What the fuck? Color attribute, color master color index? What? Mix shader, combined color, emission. I fucking hate Blender for this. Why the fuck did they do this? That to make a mix node, then set it to color. It's no longer mix color. The fucking main thing you use a goddamn mix node for. No, you gotta fucking dive through all these goddamn hoops, son of a bitch. Fuck. You can just do color mix. No, it isn't. It's combined color now. Oh. It's no longer color mix. It does not do the thing. You have to do mix and then set it to color. I am fucking vexed. All right, so the main thing is you plug the color in, and I'm gonna make a new texture. What is this now? Oh yeah, image texture. Plug that in. We're gonna plug this into the B slot, and then plug the alpha into the factor. Then we're gonna make a new texture. Let's do 64. There we go. So we have a new vex thing. But the thing that we need to do is I'm going to set this to clip. I'm going to set this to closest. And we're going to do some special stuff. So we have the UV map. This is the base UV map. It's what we just got done making. But we're going to do something else. We're going to make one strictly for the eye. And also one for the pupil when it comes up to it. Well, get to that in just a hot second. I have 30 minutes, so hopefully this will go by pretty fast. Alright, so we're going to go into the UV editor. So we have the base UV, we have the eye, and the eye is basically only going to be this part of the character. Oh, no. Invert. We're going to... where'd that go? We're going to pull that and remove it from here. So it's only this part. So we're going to unwrap that. Actually, we're going to go into orthographic view. Project from view. Rotate that 90. Rotate it like that, and then hack that. There we go. So that's where that is now. Let's pin these areas and then unwrap that. So that's what that is at its maximum. There we go. So we have... I'm stuck. Help! There we go. So we have the eye the eye. This is the eye. TEX eye. There we go. And then we're going to add a UV map. Plug that into the vector. And we're going to set this to the eye. So that only that portion of the cat line. Only this portion of the character model actually receives that. So there we go. We're going to go into texture paint, my texture paint mode. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. UV editor. Yeah, let's go to texture paint. Yeah, we'll change this into an image view. Set this to paint. Set this to eye. Go to there, and I need an erase alpha. So we need to just erase all of that. And now, yeah, now we have just the eye. But it's completely barren, and we have basically full control. Draw in this area, but we're only bound to this area. So let me turn on my Wacom tablet real quick. And I get rid of those. There we go. All right, if I go into texture paint mode on the Wacom tablet, for whatever reason it hides everything, and that's cool. So yeah, let me oh, this one's still up. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just having a fucking aneurysm trying to make this work. So we're gonna add a new window. I go into texture paint, it hides everything, and for some reason I can't unhide it. Why, God, why? Ah! Okay, layout. Does that fix it? Go to 3D viewport, texture paint. Oh, okay, that's why. So I was in. So what happens is it has the entire thing in alpha mode, pain in the ass, whatever. Go here, turn that off. So I don't think I can have OBS follow this. I can try. Here, I'll make a new not folder. I'll add a new source. Let's see, what would it be? Display capture, add source, and it would be new Wacom, and then set it to display 3. Wait, no. Display 1? Let's display 2. There we go. Now, I have not had much luck utilizing this. Transform. Stretch the screen. There we go. Now, I don't believe this is going to work too well. Well, it's currently working, so that's good. So with my Wacom tablet, I can set this to work a bit better. Now, let me add that. And here's where we are. So with the Wacom tablet, I'm going to set my fall off constant, so that way it's all pixel. And there shouldn't be any transitional. What's my shading set to? Should be pure black. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I'm a fucking idiot. The reason why it was like that was because the reason it's set like that is because of my brush. But yeah, strength is set as a pressure thing. That's not what I want. I want radius to be pressure. There we go. So something like that. I think that's appropriate. There we go. something like that would allow us to have it. I just gotta fill this in. White. Yep. The beauty of having this Wacom tab is it actually has an erase, which is fucking phenomenal. Love it. Alright, so that there is the eye. We could probably even, I don't know, go for something a little bit colored. Let's go with green, maybe, like an emerald. That. Ah, fuck. Do that, go here. Set back to fill, paste that in there. There we go. We have an emerald, right? What's your favorite thing to 3D model? Characters, I would say. I don't like environment modeling. Okay. So now that we have that, now we have to set something else up. We're gonna need to set up pupils for them to sit inside the character's eye. So what we need to do, we need to set this up. Have a mix node set to the alpha of this, and then we need to set this to multiply, and we're going to do that. We're basically going to do the exact same thing, except we're going to set this to pupil. Actually, I think the pupil is the same as the base UV, yeah. So we're going to need to delete that. We're going to select the eye, make a duplicate of that, so that way they're the exact same. And then we're going to set this to pupil. There we go. That's set to pupil. And we're going to need a new one. So this is texture pupil. We have a new one. So this is closest, flat, clip, good. So back to texture painting. All right, so pupil is set to that. We'll just erase it. And set this to black. So, one of the problems is since it's set to multiply, it's going to do that. Hold on. We're going to have to set this to white. So, set it to fill, and just set the value to that. There we go. So that should be fine. And then at the very center of this, we're just going to need... Oh. Damn it. Something along these lines. And that would be the pupil. So then what we would do now, it might not work too good because I'm actually utilizing a mirror modifier, so the eyes won't follow the way that I need them to, actually. So this is gonna need to be applied. Let's duplicate this and move it to a new layer. And this one, we're going to make a new version of it. This will be character, so that way we're not using the same mesh data, and we can actually have a duplicate in case we have a fucking oopsie doodle and need to fix something. Okay, so for the UVs, the pupils specifically, one of these needs to be flipped. Well, I have to apply this first. So now, when we get to the actual modifier, we should be able to move the character's eyes around. Also might want these set from, instead of clipping, want it to extend. There we go. Alright. Kind of just slowly figuring out where we want the character's pupil to be. You can see as of right now, because the way that it's modeled, you can see that it's not actually straight. We could fix that by, like, I think we would need to do, where is it, tool, kind of slap those in place. Hold on. This needs to be disabled. There we go. Yeah, we would need to do a little bit of work to make this work. Something a little bit like that, just so that way the eyes aren't like, you know, fucking with each other, but at the moment, that's not entirely important. All that we really need to worry about is that the eyes actually are able to move, which they should be able to once we add the modifier. So, my thing is actually running. We need to add an amateur single bone. Move it to the center. There we go. Set this to individual origins, and we'll keep it on normal. So this is the UV face. Duplicate the bone, move it up. UV target, there we go. And then we'll go to here. Shit, it's 250. I won't have enough time. Oh, fuck me sideways. I'm using the wrong goddamn display. Fuck! Shit! Fuck! Oh, God. This is why I shouldn't use my Wacom tablet when I do these things. I will fucking do stupid shit like that and just forget to change it back. Alright, well, I drew the face and the eyes. That's the important part. I fucking failed to show them. Because I'm a goddamn moron. Fucking cunt. Okay, well, I have the eyes drawn or whatever. And the eyes, they have their own layer. They're on the eye layer, utilizing the IUV map. The pupils are being mixed over them based on the alpha of the eyes. So the pupils are not able to move beyond the... I can select these. So with these pupils, we can see how they can move about, and they don't... they're allowed to move about like this. So what we need to do is we need to add a modifier that allows it to actually do that, utilizing these bones here. And then we're going to do that utilizing the UV warp modifier. We're going to select the armature for both the from and to. Set this to base, set this to target. And now we should be able to move the character's eyes about with this. And that is good. I have ran out of time, unfortunately. Still got 30 minutes. I technically only need to be down there around that. Okay. I'm gonna do the next step, which is kind of the basis of everything that's about to be a part of the tutorial. So, what we need to do is instead, this is saved as texture eye. We need to do something a little bit different. So we're gonna save this as when 2D. Actually, I haven't saved this at all yet. we'll call it Stream Dragon, whatever. Let me save this character. There we go. And now we're gonna save this image as Stream Dragon. We're gonna go into iState. Well, fucking god damn it. iState. And we're gonna save this as 001 PNG. Okay. Have this saved as iState.that. I'm going to actually edit this externally because I need to make a second iState. We're gonna make one that is more open and wide. So we're gonna go in here, get the warp modifier, or warp brush. Kind of just push these pixels about. There we go. Save that, and then we'll export this as 002. It's very important that we keep the numerical values to these. If we start to save these with actual names, it'll cause a problem based on the way that I'm going to do this. Okay, so we go back, and what we're going to do now is I'm going to go into the eye texture, and I'm going to set this. I'm just going to select 1 and 2 and hit apply, and it did not actually do the thing that I needed it to do. It should when I do that. It's not going to. We're going to set this to image sequence. So this is... What this is it allows us, or it should allow us, to fucking take these areas, and we should be able to swap between these. For some reason, it has to be set to auto. It has to be set to auto refresh, so that way we can actually cycle between the characters. So what we need to do is we need to set the frames to 1. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that Blender will automatically cycle through the animations. So if we go to 0 or 1, go back into shading, set the frames to 2. When we cycle from one frame to the next, it'll actually cycle through the animation. We don't want that. Set frames to 1. And then, basically, it doesn't do anything anymore. So we can freely go through the animation, not any problem. So what we need to do now is we're going to go into the eye control, and we're going to add a custom property, make a new one. It's going to be an integer. This is going to be called iState. You can have whatever many values that you want. We only need 1 and 0 because there's only 2. Save it. We're going to copy it as new driver. Going to go into the shading. We're going to slap the modifier into the offset. So with that, this would allow us from this bone here to control which eye state we're in. So we can keyframe that. We can use this to define where we are, and it's also an infinitely scalable system. So let me add a new one. And I will this. Go that, and then do that. Then we'll export this as image 3003. Export that out, and then in theory, I think this just gets added to the eye state. I don't know if I'll have to reload it, but we'll add a new max cap to the value, override that, and we should. Yeah, it doesn't know what to do because it hasn't been loaded yet. It doesn't know there is a third eye slot. So what we need to do now is we need to go out of pose mode, object mode, and we need to tell it that there is a third one by selecting all these and add them. So now we should be able to, from this eye state here, I can even go into, there we go. We can do that. Go. Oh, when I did that, it reset the frames back to 3. We need to set back down to 1. And then we go back here. So we have the keyframe for this. And then we could go here to the keyframes and the custom properties. So we have iState. We can, well, we're going to need to set this to constant. Otherwise, it'll try to linearly transition between the iStates, which isn't good because then we aren't selecting the exact one we want. Set that to that. And then we can go down to that. And we can have a blink animation like that. Like right there. So I wanted to go from this iState to this one, but because of the way that's set, it doesn't want to. It has, I think I set it to linear. It has that constant, and that will prevent it from doing that. There we go. Yeah, when you go into 0, basically it tries to load a negative value. So it's gonna show up as a error. So there we go. So this will allow you to control the iState that we're in, as well as dynamically control eyes themselves. So we can do that, maybe here. There we go. We only want the, okay, so it only has high target. I don't think it keyframed the, no, it did. So we're going to keyframe the location. Doesn't seem to want to. For some reason, it isn't keyframing the available, which is annoying because it should be, and yet it isn't. Wait, what? What the fuck? How the hell did they keyframe that? I keyframed the locking aspect, not the actual. That's fucking weird. Like that. So there we go. You can see that we now have control over the eyes, whatnot. There we go. So that's kind of the basic gist of how I was going to go about utilizing a iState system like that, where we have basically the face is stored in an array of numbers. Well, it's an yeah, I believe it's an array because it's like a flat variable from 0 to whatever the fuck number you want. It's not a matrix, but that's one way of being able to do it. There's another where you would utilize an entire sheet, where you would have like all of these eyes all in a sheet, and then you would, utilizing some other UV warp modifier, you would be able to like snap the bone to which shape you want, which is good visually. You can know exactly what eye shape you want, and then it would snap there. But yeah, this is an infinitely scalable one. You don't have to fit them all onto a sheet, so that's good. You could just fill an entire folder full of eyes and of eye shapes, and you would be able to know precisely, well, you could know precisely which one you're looking for. Like if I went here, you have the eye shapes, you have the entire list of them. But the problem with this one is that you would have to memorize which eye shape is assigned to what number. That can be a pain in the ass, and you would have to cycle through all of them, depending on how many there are, to get the precise one you want. So I would have to come up with a better solution at some point in the future. I'll work on that. But, yeah, anyway, I have to get ready for fucking work. It's like 3 and I leave at 3:30. So, yeah. I'm glad I got this done, showed off basically what I'm doing. Anyway, I'll have a more coherent version of this tutorial sometime in the future. Other than that, yeah, I gotta go. So, I will see everyone sometime in the very distant future. In the very near future, I should say. That was not the right wording. You're welcome. Feel appreciated. You are appreciated. All right. I'll see you, everyone. Goodbye. I'm still fucking upset. I fucked up the display with the fucking Wacom tablet. Ah! Fuck! I wish there was a way to, like, display based on, like, the active screen I'm on. Is there a way to do that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm still upset. Fucking